Okay, hey, welcome back. We're gonna do a stretch that's been super helpful for me for opening up the hips. So you guys, I always teach this, squeeze your butt cheeks, lift your chest, do these extensions. What I realized was that if your hip flexors are tight, then you can't get those hips through and you just keep being held here tight. So you're doing this extension, you're either hyperextending above the lumbar spine into the thoracic spine, or you're bending your knees. It's just not really getting the job done. So what we're gonna do is teach you how to open up these hip flexors. Two muscles, the Ilio-psoas, which is a muscle that starts up in your spine and goes down kind of through the pelvis and inserts on the inside of the femur. And also the quadriceps, which are the big muscles that run in the front of your leg. So we're gonna start this stretch. You can do this against the wall on the ground, but I find that to be really aggressive, and unless you have extremely good flexibility, can be difficult to even get set up. So this is a much better way to do it from a starting perspective. And you could also do this, so this could be the couch, or you could do it in a chair like this. Then you need to have another chair or something in front of you to put your hands on. So you start like this. You're gonna get your foot over the back of the chair. You're gonna get your knee as close to the back of the chair as you can. Now I'm gonna make sure that my lower leg and my upper leg are lined up with my body. And I'm gonna just lean forward. Now I'm not sure if you can see this, but if I'm down here and my knee joint is opened up almost to 90 degrees, it makes it pretty easy for me to get my hip through. When I say hip through, what I mean is get this hip from a straight line into a more an obtuse angle, or an angle like my hips jutting forward into extension, which this is. If my butt's sticking back, that means my hip is in flexion, right? So we don't want to do that. We want to open this thing up because those are the muscles that we're trying to affect here. So you can hold on here, or you can just lean over and just get that hip into extension. So this hip moving forward, and you're just going to hang out here. You're going to hang out for 2 minutes. So you set your little phone timer for 2 minutes, put on a song that's 2 minutes long, or just count to 120, however you like. And you're going to lean this thing in. And now I'm just going to move around a little bit, and I'm going to find the place that feels the tightest within that hip flexor. And you should feel this maybe a little bit teeny bit in the groin, right on the front of the hip. Maybe you feel it up into inside, sort of underneath the abdomen there, abdominals. So you hold that for 2 minutes, and then you're going to sit up a little, move this chair back. Now I'm going to try to bring my butt right to my heel as close as I can, comfortably. Now see, when I do that, this muscle gets longer, so it's stretched pretty tight. It's going to be hard for me to get my hip through. I'm working on it. I'm getting better. But as I get to right about here, I can't go anymore. So I'm going to lean forward until I can start to get this hip through. Did you see that? So here, my butt's kind of sticking backward. I'm leaned forward. If I try to get up, it's just too tight. But as I open up the angle here at my knee, I can start to get my hip through. So once I get that through, now I feel the tension in this big quadricep muscle right about in the middle. That's where I want to feel it. And I'm going to take this hand, put it right on the back of my hip, and I'm just going to push it through a little bit. So I just feel a good amount of stretch here, maybe a 5 or 6. Could approach a 7 out of 10 stretch, but no more than that. And I'm going to do that for another 2 minutes. So I've got two minutes here, right? 2 minutes here. Then I'm going to go to the other leg. So it's 8 minutes altogether. You don't have to do this every day, but you should do it at least 3 times a week. If you have the time to do it every day with the other things that you're doing right now, that's okay. So go ahead, get those hips opened up. It's going to make a big difference for that lower back, that chronic low back pain that you're just not able to get better, especially after you've been sitting and you stand up, that lower back feels tight, or you get out of bed, it feels tight. We need to get those hips opened. Have fun.